The tragedy of an American Fall Armyworm outbreak has started affecting African farmers. Fall armyworms, commonly known as American Fall Armyworm, is a new species of pest that originates in America, mostly related with common fall armyworms. Research is done by UN Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO) indicate that this species attack more than 80 types of crops, mainly the maize crop. American Fall Armyworm spread rapidly due to business activities. It was first seen in Africa in 2016, mainly in Western Central Africa, and later was seen in Sub-Saharan Africa, Southern Africa, and in Tanzania it was first seen in 2017. Given the threat of this pest, when they reached in Rwanda and Uganda, the heads of states were forced to use military forces to combat the threat by spraying pesticides from one farm to next, and also by picking and killing pests from each plant. Regardless these efforts, their effects continued. AFAM is the threat to food security in the country because their favorite, namely maize, is a staple food for most Tanzanians. Farmers explain the effects and challenges they face in efforts to rescue the crops.
Pest starts from the roots to the leaves. As you spray pesticides in the morning, later you find they have multiple. We just pick them as a common fall armyworms. But these are extreme. For now, they have 8 dry cabs. Financially, we are also challenged, since the money we get, we buy pesticides, which even don't help. We spray in the morning, and if it rains, the pesticides get washed away. Most of us has been affected by this pest.
Even though we used to pest in the previous year, this year's pests are the disaster. I have never seen this situation before. We used to spray other crops, mainly cotton but not maize. This year is the challenge. The planting was well done, but after almost 3 weeks, the pest appeared. Immediately, we applied pesticides which seemed useless. So we opted for Ninja, but it could not help. Up to now, the situation is worse, and the production is declining. Last year, I planted 50 acres of maize, but I was challenged with fall armyworms. In addressing the challenge, I applied all kinds of pesticide with no avail. As I sprayed, the pest multiplied. Instead of killing them, it looks like I was producing them, and those which look younger grew up after the application of pesticide.
Looking in all the farms, the condition is the same. This year's situation is calamity. We don't understand this pest. We don't even understand the pesticide to use. Last year, we experienced the same pest. People sprayed, but the pest could not die. Even if you apply pesticides, they don't die. They don't die at all. They continue attacking maize plants. Initially, we thought maybe we applied low dosage. We added the dose with no avail. Even if you repeat, they won't die. It's a loss.
The fall armyworm ni tishio.
This pest is threat to maize farmers. Some of them have suffered and stressed in an effort to controlling the pest so as to ensure food availability for the families. In search for a proper way to control this pest which cause worries among farmers, leads to improper usage of pesticide with strong chemicals, some of which are hazardous to human health.
So nyingine ni hatari sana kwa afya za binadamu.
Not merely fall armyworms, American fall armyworms. It's an outbreak of new pest plants from American continent. This pest crossed all the nations and seas and reached Africa. They're not only in Tanzania, but in the whole Africa.
Most often, when farmers meet a new threat, they use all the methods to combat such a threat. Farmers are complaining that they have used all the approaches, but they couldn't kill the pest. They even tried traditional means of combating the pest, but also with no avail.
While looking for a solution to save our maize, we made a short research by applying soap foam. When the foam was applied in the plants, the pests fall from the plant stalks, but they couldn't die. This is still a challenge to us. We applied salt dust. I've just come from the farm to apply the dust, but it seems useless. I would apply with ash on this plant, leaves or stems. With this strategy, I could harvest only half an acre or 15 acres. So the remaining acres were lost because of this pest. At first, we saw plant leaves fall. We never bothered. But later we realized there were some eggs. We couldn't know what was going on. After a while, we saw larvae attacking plants. I immediately sprayed pesticides I usually use in cotton. The pesticide seemed to work because the larva died, but later the pest appeared again, and this time the maize plants were at the flowering stage. I sprayed for second times. Also the pest died. The plants continued to grow, but at tasseling stage the pest appeared on tassels. I again sprayed pesticide and thought to myself that I have now managed them, not knowing they had attacked the developed cobs. When I realized that the cobs was already affected, it was too late. So the farm that I used to harvest 15 to 20 sacks of maize, I ended up with only 3 sacks. My advice to farmers: they should not wait for the aphron. If they find any spot in their maize plant, they should go to the agro shop for proper pesticide. There are about 4 or 5 types of pesticide that I know. So they should seek guidance from the shopkeepers on which pesticide to use at what stage, as authorized by TPRI. TPRI, after realizing that we are the main stakeholders in this pest aphron, the first thing we did was to develop a guide called Fall Armyworm Symptomatic Spray Scheme. The scheme shows which symptoms should be used with what pesticides, at the second and the third, etc. The schemes also guides farmers not to use the same pesticide on different symptoms. This is the scheme we always go with to farmers and agro officers. We guide farmers that this pest reaches a stage where only pesticide and that penetrate into the plant is needed. Therefore, TPRI argues farmers not to use more than one pesticide with an assumption that they are controlling the pests. The fact is, mixing pesticides does not kill the pest. Instead, it affects the environment.
Chemical pesticides for controlling these pests are both hazardous to human health and costly, yet it doesn't perform well. In this aspect, FAO recommended the use of biological control, that is, the use of biopesticides.
In this regard, FAO has signed a contract with the Tanzania government to help researchers in AFAM. FAO has also given 216 traps and promised to add 300 more. It has also given $250,000 to Tanzania government to facilitate research. In collaboration with other international stakeholders, the government has prepared a 5-year plan which will help to combat the pest. Given the attack by this pest in most regions of Tanzania, an impact evaluation is done to establish effects brought by the pest to farmers and their farms, as explained by regional agro officers and experts from the Ministry of Agriculture. The evaluation done at the regional level and all district councils indicate that almost 34,000 hectares were affected with AFAM, which mainly affected maize plants and other cereal crops. The 34,000 hectares affected by the pest counts a loss of almost 9,000 tons of cereal foods, including maize.
In Tabora region, the effect caused by the pest are enormous. Although I can't give the actual data on how they have been affected, you have seen yourself on the farm that we visited that the effect is immense. In collaboration with experts from COSTECH, today we have confirmed that this pest is an AFAM. So as I said, we at the regional level, together with district officers, we shall prepare a program to inform and educate farmers on how to identify and control this pest. This is not one-man battle. Its majorities including you, the media people. The media must help us to inform the community about this pest. The agro-input sellers should be aware and be encouraged to sell pesticide for combating this pest. This will make pesticide easy accessed by the farmers. Also, farmers should be inspired to be friendly to their farms, which will make them notice any change in their plants. Once the pests are identified, it becomes easy for them to make prompt measures. Otherwise, if this battle is left to an individual, we might find the situation become worse for next years. Unfortunately, most farmers are not used to spraying pesticide on food crops. They think applying pesticide on food crops leaves some toxins which may prevent them from taking new raw maize, and even some think it is of less importance, not aware they are getting loss for their crops.
According to FAO, this pest in America, where it originates, has been controlled through technologically produced seeds, namely transgenic seeds, e.g. BT maize seeds. These seeds are made to tolerate pests and diseases. For example, in a surprising situation and in good luck, while Tanzanian researchers were experimenting on the BT maize seeds, in an effort to combat maize pest at Makutopora Agricultural Research Center in Dodoma through WEMA project, it occurred an outbreak of AFAM. The pest attacked all non-BT crops and all GMO crops were safe. The effect of AFAM is seen across the country. COSTECH and OFAB, in their process of providing quality seeds and establishing demonstration farms for better agricultural practices in the country, meets farmers' cry on the pest. The COSTECH director explains this and government efforts in combating it.
The challenges seems to be big, but we keep insisting our researchers not to give up. Since you may produce a quality seed, but if you can't tolerate pest, it's worth nothing. Foregoing experiment done by our researchers at Makutopora, positive signs can be seen, though it is still early to give an ultimate solution for this problem.
as it has been reported from other countries worldwide, attacks more than 80 crops. In Tanzania, the pest attacks several crops including maize, cassava, cotton, and many other cereal crops, which is a threat to farmers. The destruction is fast and wide, as the pest is reported to walk 100 kilometers a day. Farmers explain.
They have started now attacking cotton. Farms are severely destroyed by pests. Farmers who planted in the beginning of the season are now who were almost affected by the pest. Maybe those who planted late January could save their farms by this time we experience heavy rain.
I sprayed pesticide for the first time. The pest couldn't die. When I sprayed for the second time, the pest multiplied and my farm was badly destroyed. These pests are different from the one we used to know. This is the perilous species because it takes almost 28 hours for the pest to die.
Mwakani tutakuwa na njaa sana.
I anticipate famine for the next year because the situation is terrible. This pest is now attacking even cassava. This is a big challenge and we should be prepared for food crisis.
Paka kwenye miogo wadudu wapo.
Zaidi ya wadudu. These pests mainly attack maize crops, but when the maize started to dry, they immediately moved to cotton plant. So it is a challenge.
The outbreak of AFAM is a threat to food security. This has made many farmers in the country to take precaution against famine. They have started keeping the little they have harvested because they are cash crops which supplement food crops. When there is food shortage, are also affected by the pest.
I speak on behalf of my fellow women. We mostly depend on the farms to run our homes, including taking our children to school. But we are now desperate. We don't know what to do with these pests. We have tried all the means with no avail.
Tumejaribu kila njia, imeshindikana.
Hali ya chakula kwa kweli ni ngumu.
Food status is currently a challenge. We are forced to use wisely what we have. If someone used to have 3 meals, then they should be reduced to 2. We used to have various ceremonies and weddings. All this has to be postponed for this year. We agreed as women that since we are the one who are at home most of the time, to economically use what we have. Otherwise, our children will starve.
Kubana matumizi ili watoto wetu wasipate shida ya chakula.
Food will be a challenge. For instance, most farmers who planted in August and September sold their stock hoping to have a better harvest in October. Unfortunately, the situation didn't go as expected. The harvests were poor, which has resulted in an abrupt increase in price from the previous 4,000 Tanzanian shillings per ton of 20 kilograms to 7,000 Tanzanian shillings.
The situation is terrible. Food shortage is obvious. Given our low income, we can't imagine hospital costs, home expenditure, and etc. The condition is truly difficult for us.
Mahitaji kwa kweli magumu.
In an effort to address drought and maize crop pests, the government, through Costage, is conducting experiments of the technologically produced seeds, namely transgenic seeds. Those experiments are done at the Agricultural Research Center, Makutopora in Dodoma region, supported by Water Efficient Maize for Africa WEMA project. The project collaborates with different stakeholders worldwide, including research institutes and agro-input companies. During seed planting exercise, Representatives from those collaborators participated, and here they air their views on the importance of this technology in solving farmers' challenges.
Fall armyworms challenges are huge in our region, which is becoming a threat to our food security. It needs policymakers, researchers, and all stakeholders in the agricultural sector to collaborate in coming up with permanent solution to these challenges. This will help our farmers to grow better agricultural practices.
We know that Tanzania has a lot of semi-arid zone, and a lot of farmers use all their crop by 100%. They said that the big challenge is from some publication in the IE. If by chance we are able to meet our target, the farmers in Tanzania can have a maize which is insect resistant.
It is a new pest in Africa. So at the moment, we have not developed a long-term and consistent strategy to deal with it. So at the moment, most of the approaches have been ad hoc and using old methods, and there has not developed either natural predators, or the crops have not developed natural resistance to them. And that's one of the things that treaty tries to solve by having as much diversity as possible, and that the farmer uses.
When these shortcomings are accompanied by other challenges, such as the presence of rats in different areas that we haven't mentioned, drought or flood may lead or cause smallholder farmers to fall into food crisis.
Kostich is the main government advisor on science and technology related issues. In this exercise, the Kostich acting director participated fully, and he explains the importance of this experiment in addressing chronic challenges that draw back farmers' efforts.
These transgenic products technologies have been solving many problems facing these developing countries. There is no way out. Pests and droughts are the challenges we must overcome. The only way is to look for better strategy and to address these challenges. If the government will be satisfied with this technology, we are certainly of increasing technology. Basically, the farmers are expected to increase their production, and if these transgenic seeds will be tolerant to drought and pests, we expect to increase production to the extent that smallholders farmers and entire Tanzanian community will be certain of their lives, and thus aim at solving farmers' problems. We want to ascertain ourselves by doing detailed research before allowing farmers to use this technology. Although there are some countries, as we were told yesterday, did research and confirmed the technology was worth using. For example, South Africa is one of them. For many years, we hear about this technology through the radio. We get motivated that there may be this biotechnology can solve this problem.
Since the existence of chronic challenges to farmers, researchers think that maybe GMO seed could be of help to farmers to solve the agriculture-related challenges, as it has been to other countries in Africa and worldwide. The use of GMO seeds in Tanzania is an issue that has raised a debate as it is in other African countries. While researchers commended that it is the right time to adopt this technology, others, mainly activists, recommend other means or methods to be used other than GMO technology. What is farmers' take on this debate?
We are not against this technology, we accept it. We need seeds that will help us. they will be assured of eating. What we need is to be assured of food. Those who are against that technology have money. Look, you cultivate big farm, but your harvest is poor. Why do people get vaccinated? Isn't it they protect themselves from diseases? So why shouldn't we protect our maize crops? What we need is their help. Those who are against it are financially stable, and they can even get food from America because they are capable. For us, the poor, will die if the government won't intervene.
Tutakufa na njaa. Kwa hiyo serikali ituangalie. Sasa kama kuna watokea watafiti, wana science ambao wanafanya tafiti.
If there are researchers and scientists who are researching on seeds that are tolerant to diseases and these pests, I think it will be a solution for food crisis and poverty. I think farmers should have high expectations that when this technology will be accepted and followed to be used, farmers' success will be high and their main challenges will come to an end. We are optimistic that this experiment will be complete soon and we shall submit the result to the government to act.
For farmers to use or not to use this technology falls under several ministries, but agricultural issues fall under Dr. Charles Tizeba's jurisdiction, who also sees the importance of research on GMO seeds to be done in the country so as to get prepared to a threat of diseases and chronic pests which affects crops.
Kuna maoni yanayokinzana.
There are contradicting opinions with regard to use of biotechnology in the country, and the debate is yet to reach consensus on which direction to take. We can't stop science. This is the naked truth. We can't stop it. That is why researches are going on. There is an article from our environmental colleagues that hinders the researchers to dwell into real GMO researches. The article talks of strictly liability, that anyone involving himself or herself in GMO researches will be strictly liable for any effect even after several years. Lawyers, researchers, and human rights activists are divided on this issue. If the consensus will be reached on this article, biotechnology now will be open, and you will see how people react on this opportunity. For us in Ministry of Agriculture, we are doing biotechnology researches so that we get informed and knowledgeable of it. However, its application will have to wait on the consensus since the researchers cut across other sectors. We shouldn't move alone and leave others injured.
FAO recommends the use of GMO seeds because of their ability to tolerate different farmers' challenges. FAO confirms that GMO foods are safe for both human health and the environment, since the gene in given seed targets specific pests. According to FAO, in the developing countries where GMO is used, more than 90% of the farmers who use this technology are smallholder farmers, and that for only 2016, a total of 185 million hectares, more than the entire China, were cultivated with GMO crops. In Tanzania, necessary efforts are needed from all agricultural stakeholders to look for a proper solution that will end the pests, mainly apham, which threatens farmers yearly. While this is going on, researchers in the country spend sleepless nights in an effort to work out technology that will help farmers address their challenges. This will make farmers to have meaningful farming and will make real agriculture the backbone of the nation. Mass education should be provided so as every stakeholder is aware of these pests and GMO application methods. This will enable stakeholders to make a collective decision for the benefit of farmers and the nation at large, as it has been done in other nations such as South Africa, Burkina Faso, and our neighbors Kenya and Uganda. If we don't decide now, farmers will look for the seeds from their neighbors, where and when the situation will be worse, since we are not an island, as said by Dr. Tizeba and other stakeholders.